Hi, everyone. Welcome to Adobe Live. My name is Cyn Lagos, and today I will be your host. This is Creative Kickoff, where we kick off the day of multiple live streams. We have so many cool things coming up throughout the day. So keep up with our stream by subscribing to our YouTube channel if you haven't already. You can keep up with all the goodies and really cool ideas we come up with so you and I can continue to learn the Adobe Creative Cloud. All right, so today we're going to be exploring video and collaging in Adobe Express. So if you know me, you know that I love to focus on the marketing aspect of my work as much as my work, right? I think it's both very fair. I like to think I gotta be my own ambassador for my own work. So I've got a couple of videos of outdoor things that I like doing when I'm not doing my usual photography stuff. I love photographing any outdoor activities that I get to do here. I'm based in Austin, Texas. So shout out to folks if you're from anywhere here in the US. Let me know where you're joining from. If you're anywhere else, is it daytime, nighttime where you are? It is almost midday for me. I think I'm about to have some lunch right after this. So folks, thank you for joining. I see the chat here. I see Oliver. I see Marcy. Sean, what's up? So nice to see you in here. So awesome. All right, folks, we're going to be exploring Adobe Express. Before we move on, I'll just get a little acquainted with y'all because we don't all know each other, right? If we do know each other, we go way back. I know we do. Right, Sean? Yes, hope to see more of y'all in Adobe Max. I love meeting people at Adobe Max. It's like, wait, that's you. That's so cool. Okay, so this is my website. This is where you can find any streams I'm up to and any resources. I love giving away freebies and coming up with different ideas. So you have resources. It was my experience that I really relied on the amicability of creators that decided not to gatekeep all of their learnings, and they taught me how to develop my own skills. So I want to do that for you, and this is why I'm here. So this is my website. Tune into my website. There's always going to be something cool in there for you to explore or download. So that's that. Let's jump into Adobe Express because we have a little bit of time. Although we covered a lot in like 3 minutes, which is nuts. Okay, so you may not have known, but yes, Adobe Express can edit video. And if you know a little bit about me, I have a series called Medium Unlimited. So I like to mix media quite a lot. So this time we're gonna be mixing video plus some photography that I took during this outdoor experience. But first, I want to explore Adobe Express and some of the resources that we have in here. So when you are in Adobe Express, you will arrive at this page right here. And I want to have you focus on this section right here. So a lot of people miss this, but this is the suggested quick actions. And these are suggested because in fact, oftentimes they tend to be something you need to do just really fast. And hopefully, if you run your own business or you're a freelancer, like being fast is important. And so in here, I just want to let you know or get you to explore that there are some video quick actions. So you can convert some files into MP4s. You can resize a video, right? You ever need to just resize a video, but maybe you don't have Premiere or maybe you don't have anything else, then there you go. If you're on the go, you can also access these in the mobile app. I believe it looks very much the same. The mobile app is surprisingly accurate to the web app. They did a great job. I've never seen a mobile app more robust as I have with Adobe Express. So take a look at that. Very good for on the go. So a lot of these are really cool because you can trim video in here as well. So a lot of things that we tended to outsource, we probably download a quick app to do this. Well, you don't need to do that anymore. You can also caption videos, which is really awesome. So really cool resources there for quick actions. Now, when we explore templates, let's say I want to do something video oriented, I'm going to go into this section here and it says videos. What you have here is access to a bunch of stock footage that can be relevant to the work you're trying to display, right? Maybe it's for a client, it all kind of depends. In my case, because I want to showcase a day of exploring the outdoors and things like that, something like this could be really cool because it has a little bit of anonymity, right? You can't really tell what it is. But once you see my footage, you'll see it's very similar to the photos I took. And I always say we, I don't know why. I'm so used to team mentality. And this could be kind of cool. So if you wanted to create something with this, you go to create new, and it gives you different variations of sizes commonly used, Instagram posts, flyers, logos, whatnot. I'm going to go into a custom size and say my classic 1080 by 1920 in here, and we're going to create a new file. We can also like it for future references. So that's something we can do. So as you can see, the 1920 by 1080 is a different ratio, aspect ratio from this file. So you can always enlarge it by holding Alt like this, or you can use these edges here and kind of change the ratio of that size as well. So that's how you would be able to access the video assets and create a brand new file from scratch from here. From here, where I want you to take a look at this footer down here. So hopefully you see that. Okay, we've got a timeline in Adobe Express, which is so awesome. All right, let's see, just keeping up with y'all. Yeah, Sean says, we have history. Yes, we do. That's awesome. So we've got this timeline right here, which I feel like for those of you who may be a little intimidated by video, this is a nice bridge to the more robust and advanced programs like Premiere and After Effects. They're part of the Adobe Creative Cloud family, so you might as well get acquainted with some of these tools because they speak a very similar language. So the UI should be about the same, right? So here you get acquainted what it feels like to be able to navigate a timeline with a playhead, right? So that's our playhead right here, which denotes where we are in our time, which is kind of like traveling in time, so to speak. So I do have a project prepared that isn't this, but I wanted you to get acquainted with what the UI looks like once you step into a workflow for video. Okay, now that we know that, I'm gonna go into my stuff. I love that it's called your stuff because I can't tell you how many times I've named my folders, at least in college. I used to name my folders stuff because I had terrible organization skills at the time. It was like, what do I do? And I named it stuff. In this case, your stuff is a little bit more productive than my college hard drive used to be, but nonetheless, you know, a little bit of a learning experience there as you come to learn organization is just as valid and valuable during these workflows. Okay, so hey, I don't want to add something new. Let's go home here and make sure I'm opening my outdoors. Yes, I think it's this one. All right, let's open it there. All right, so we'll let this load. What's so fantastic about this is that because it's connected to the cloud, this means I can pick up on this wherever I want. I can pick up on it on my phone. I can pick up on it on my laptop while I'm at a coffee shop. So very chill stuff. And so far it just looks black, right? We've got some really cool photos here that I took. You can see the ratios meant for social media. I've placed a lot of these photos in here so we don't spend time kind of uploading these files, but we're gonna do some collaging with the photos because you're probably asking yourself like, Cyn, wait, but how is that video? Well, we've got a couple videos in here that we'll introduce, right, in this page right here, but we're gonna convert these photos into kind of an animation. So it starts to like lead into the video possibilities. And this is great for folks who want to promote their photos, but they don't quite know how. This is a fun way to explore and kind of push the boundaries of where your photos can go. Okay. Definitely a fun approach. Think about this as a fun approach, not so much like the end all be all for your photo showcase. So we've got these photos. I love them. This is here in Austin, all my friends slacklining. I got the slackline too. It was so cool. But of course, in these, I'm taking the photos. Oh, there I am, slacklining. And it's super cool. For those of you who may not know, it's like walking a tightrope, but with a different line. So really, really awesome stuff. It tests your... I think it tests your mindset because it makes you think a lot about your inner voice. And it's a solo sport, and it's a beautiful thing because it helps you gain confidence in the fact that you have this autonomy to be powerful and, you know, get back up and so on. Needless to say, I love it. So I'm going to download a footage here so that you can see what I'm doing here for the video as well. So we've got a couple of videos. This is one I created in the past. It's a photo made into kind of a cinematograph. This was a really cool exploration in Photoshop. I might bring this in, but I also have some more footage. This is my wife Mo, and she's about to fall. Boom. I love that. And then it's me, and you can see how far away we are, which is so cool, right? So I'm gonna bring in this one, which is the same variation, but because I took it with an iPhone, it has that flat ProRes look that if you have an iPhone, you know what it's about. So I'm gonna bring this in. It's a little bit flat. So what can we do about that? Because we're in Adobe Express. It's like, what's possible here? Well, I can go into adjustments and very much bring back some of that color in here. So I'm gonna, looking at this, it looks like the highlights are too high. Let's bring down the highlights there. Let's increase the shadows just a tad to create some contrast. This is by far my favorite part. Just reverts me back to my photography mentality. Jeff says, oh, that's terrifying, but awesome at the same time. It is terrifying. The first few times it's very terrifying and your body tells you, what are you doing? But it's a safe sport. There's no other way we would do it if it wasn't safe. Everyone's so smart at rigging. They're just incredible human beings, you know, like that's why I love this sport, because I meet this caliber of people who are willing to push this boundary. And that really appeals to me, and it appeals to me on many levels as an artist, as a person. So I love it. I love it a lot. Okay, so adjustments so far: decrease highlights, increase contrast. Now I think it needs a little color. What do you think? I think so, right? So a little bit of saturation to bring back those hues. And let's do a play. Let's see what that would work, how that would work. Let me see if I can get you to, yeah, there you go. I'm gonna play and fall. And I like to think, you notice that this video is a lot longer, right? You can determine the duration by just stretching this clip, right? So if I stretch it, you begin to see, okay, how far she is and so on. But here's one of my pro tips. Definitely always edit. If you want to edit in a way that it feels nice and smooth and cohesive, try to edit on action. So you notice here, she's falling. In the moment that she falls, we're transitioning over to the next scene, which in fact, these little compartments are called scenes. Each one is called a scene. And so what's so cool here is that I may have given something away. You're going to transition into the next scene. What do you think we should do here? We should make it a transition. So we do have a transition property down here that we can explore. And when we add a transition, it tells you, okay, that's selected. So there's a transition that is now in effect. And right now I have it dipped to black, but I can delete that one and create maybe, oops, I keep pressing the plus button, and remove transition. And I can add any one of these transitions. We've got dip to black, dip to white, dissolve. And now these are some of the newer features, some of which the community asked for. They were like, please bring that back because we love transitions. Oh wow, so wild, says Voodoo. Aw. Jeff says, there are so many things I wish you can try, but because they're in the wheelchair, they cannot. I think there's always something you can challenge yourself in. I genuinely feel like there's something. I do feel like I have my own mental limitations. It's not a physical limitation, but I do feel like I have to always find what works for me. So I hope, Jeff, you find something that works for you. The goal is to challenge yourself, I think. Doesn't matter what you use. It's just that it pushes your boundaries a little bit, right? We don't like comfort zones. Comfort zones are no good. So let's go in here and thanks for sharing, by the way. And let's go in here, and in this section, I'm gonna go in the very beginning. You notice that I left some room here. Let me kind of backtrack here. I left some room here that has like this white area. So this is in Austin. So I thought it could be cool to do a little bit of layout design with this by going to my media, going to videos, and exploring Austin. Like, I wonder if it has any Austin stock footage. So I am searching here, and right away I see downtown Austin. It's like, that's so awesome. So I can explore some of these clips, really, because they're not sequences, they're clips, and you can see they're horizontal. But I was hoping to use this as more of a backdrop, less so of the main focus, just to, you know, give a bit of layout design into the footage. Do you see that? So now you have a little bit more understanding. Oh, this might be in Austin. Those of you who know your cities, don't you ever feel like, oh, I can recognize the clouds in my city, you can recognize the buildings? So it just gives that extra nudge of location, establishing location, you know. And video establishing location is kind of important. So okay, we're breaking the rules a little bit here because we're collaging and we're creating layout design because it's Adobe Express, and we love Adobe Express for how quirky it is. Let's be real. But I do think establishing a location tends to kind of be a powerful way to tell a story right off the bat. Okay, so what about this black screen, Cyn? Like, what are we gonna do here? Well, when it comes to social media marketing, I often think, oh my God, I'm fighting for eyes. Unfortunately, we're fighting for attention. So this means I need something that helps folks like stop scrolling, right? That little moment where they're like, whoa, what was that? That's cool. Let's use some light leaks. This is a secret of mine, something I love using. So I'm going to search for light leaks, and you get all of these cool variations. Something that I would often have to search elsewhere, I have it here pretty readily available. So I think that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to grab one of these, and it takes a little bit to load because it's what it is, right? It's a video. So as it presses play, let's make sure the area that I want, you can see here in the timeline that the area that I wanted wasn't visible yet. So you see that I can move the timeline over that little window, and that's going to give me that part of the clip that I want. Okay, so why are you doing that, Cyn? Okay, this is kind of like a showstopper. You're scrolling and all of a sudden, boom, that happens. So it makes you intrigued, right? Like, what is this? Oftentimes I also use sound effects, like a little, right? It gives that feeling of like, here you go. Right, so really cool things there that are possible. Of course, I need a transition here, so I can use a dip to black, or I can use maybe a dissolve. Do you think a dissolve would be better here? I think it might be. I think the shorter this is, the more it gets to the meat of the video, the better. So I'm going to keep pressing play. Boom. And drop. And now we're going into our footage. Okay, so our photo collaging. So what am I going to do here is create these really cool effects. And we're going to go rapid fire here to make sure we can cover some ground. So I'm going to challenge Adobe Express to help me be fast. So, you know, Adobe Express, let's just pretend it's saying challenge accepted. Let's remove the background of this image. And there it is. It removed the background. How do I know? Because my friend here is flying in the air more so than he was before. So it's kind of cool to explore the possibility. I have a background here, which I also grabbed out of media, right? You can go looking for backdrops, patterns, things like that. Or in elements, you can go under backgrounds and explore different patterns and textures. I think that's more efficient. I think that's where I ended up grabbing it from. So you go in here and I want this file to appear. So you notice in the timeline that it comes in a little bit later. We need it to come in much sooner. So now it looks like it's floating in that little paradise of doodles, and then it comes in fully, right? That's what we want. And then it moves on to this one, right? So we've got this photo. We're going to duplicate this photo and make sure I'm doing my thing here. And we're going to try to match as much as we can. Jeff says the light leak is so cool. I'm glad you like it. One of my favorite things is to record my own light leaks at home too. Let's see, remove background on that one while I read the chat. Oh, I use light leaks too, says Voodoo. Give me your best, Cyn. I'm trying, y'all. All right, so I'm gonna do some cool effects here where we're gonna add an effect to create a monochromatic look. So, you know, this kind of fits because it's a nice funky day. I feel like we have this funky vibe as a group. Every time we go slacklining, like we're just like very groovy. We're like, you know, just cheering everyone on and just everyone's going at their own pace and there's no pressure. It's more like, wow, did you do that? Like that was your personal best. And it feels really good. So if you ever find a Slackline community, just ask, hey, how do you do that? Because it might just really change your life. It's a lot of really wonderful people. And I'm going to change the timeline here so things appear in a sequential way. So real quick, boom, there you go. So we've got, yeah, just give it a go. Let me see here. Ooh, now we're talking. That's working out really well. Then we got this photo. Also want to remove the background, right? So we've got a couple of variations here that I created earlier. We don't need them anymore. So we've got this same thing. We're going to hit duplicate and remove background. And we're just going to do it like this, add those cool effects in here as well. And maybe, yeah, something like this. And then we're going to make sure it comes out first. So it's like the key is you want the thing that doesn't have the background to come out first, and then it gets completed by the one that does have the background. Do you see that? And then we can remove this one. So then that's what it would do essentially, right? What I do want you to know is that you can always add transitions in between scenes, and that's going to be able to give you kind of a smoother flow into your video, right? So we can use a slide. Even something as simple as a slide ends up being like, it befits this because it's trying to be playful and funky, so it works. One of my favorite things is to add animations. So things come in a form of a slideshow of sorts. I'm still getting to show off my photos, you know, and that's the best part, honestly. So there it is, right? We got all our photos and one last play here just to get a sense. And drop. So cool. Awesome. All right, so we get to show off our photos. And what do I do after this? I hit download and I've got an MP4 available. So that's super cool. So folks, thank you so much for being with me. This has been so cool. And I invite you to tune in to my Medium Unlimited live streams where I explore how to edit some of these photos as well on my YouTube channel. Again, my name is Cyn Lagos and I explore video, photo, and design, right? Graphic design. So I invite you to explore with me here on Adobe Live, which my friends here on Adobe Live are the best, and also here on my website to keep up with my live streams on YouTube. So hope to see you there. Thanks again, everyone, for being here and tuning in. See you next time.